Hello and welcome to the Booze Book Baedeker.
Ooh.
This is our first early morning recording. We had some scheduling difficulties, so
Yes,
we
did.
are having Bloody Orange Marias,
That's right.
aka Tequila Mockingbird.
Mm-hmm.
Our good friend Rance told us about this drink, and we are so glad. At first, when I heard it was orange juice with Bloody Mary mix, I was like, that is disgusting.
I think it works.
It's so good. It's so good.
But have you ever had orange juice with Trix? Instead of milk, you use orange juice.
Oh, that sounds like
It's
really
delicious.
bad.
Yep.
Okay, so I hated this book.
I did too.
I mean, there were parts of it I liked. I laughed out loud at like the pool scene, the
Yep.
naked men frolicking and swimming, and when they were trying to get the right change for everybody.
Right.
That was hilarious. But for the most part, I just kind of wanted to blow my brains out. I was like, I have to finish reading this?
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
It was a bunch of gossipy class warfare. It's one of those books where, you know, you're reading it, but you're not really reading it because you're thinking about something else. Like, oh, I need to go to the grocery store.
Or this Kindle does not really indicate to me how long this book actually is. I felt like I was at 50% for like ever. It must be a big book. I don't know. I've never seen a physical copy of it.
I read it
So,
on my iPad and it was like 528 pages.
So-
But that's an iPad, so
but does it equate to like regular pages pretty well, or no? Okay.
not at all.
I'm just gonna assume that the book was like this thick because it felt like it took just an eternity to finish reading.
224 pages is my guess.
Oh, so it was just bad. That's why it felt.
It's poorly written.
I was confused. A lot of it was ambiguous. You didn't know the transitions.
Yeah.
You just didn't know who was talking to who, or if they had moved, or.
I wasn't necessarily confused, I just didn't really want to pay attention.
Okay then. Okay. Well, it starts out in Italy. Girl meets boy, right?
Yes.
Girl loses her Baedeker.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh! So we finally just got a Baedeker because, and this one is for Northern Italy, the same one.
Look at that.
The same one that Lucy would have been using
Mhm.
until it got taken by Miss Lavish, who went by a
Yeah, what
name-
was her alias?
It was like I don't
Was
know.
it a
It was a
dude's name?
three name. It was a dude's
It
name,
was like
and
Joseph something.
yeah.
Anyways.
It was hilarious.
Cecil reading that book.
Step 3, see a murder. There was a murder. There was Italians. That's what I kind of feel like they were using Italy as, you know, the way to be kind of like visceral and animal-like and just do what it is that humans are supposed to do instead of these stuffy British people. That's kind of how I feel Italy was being used.
Interesting.
I don't know. I could be all wrong.
No, it's an interesting takeaway.
Get kissed by boy.
Mhm.
Okay, so when that happens, I like picture like a kiss, like a real kiss. And then later in the book, we realize it was just like a kiss on the cheek. Oh, scandalous.
Very
Oh my
scandalous.
goodness.
It was the Violets. Brought it out in old
I
young
know.
George.
Those violets falling down a hill. That was
Blue
great.
Violets.
Was George gonna like jump off the cliff? That was another thing that was so weird about that scene. It kind of seemed like George was about ready to jump off a cliff.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't get that from that.
Yeah.
What makes you think that?
Because he was like standing on the precipice and it looked like a diver about ready to jump into a pool, I think is like the language that was
yeah.
used. So, I don't know, but. And he's so quiet. Like, we don't know anything about George except that he's kind of quiet and awkward, and it isn't until about 77% of the way into the book that we realize he's very kind of progressive and feminist and all these things. It's like, well, we didn't know any of this about him for the first.
The Emersons aren't held in high regard.
No, because they're very, well, they're kind of like hipsters, aren't they?
No, they're just low class, I thought.
Well, they don't care. Well,
And then Cecil tries
They're
to
very-
invite him, and he's like, I believe in democracy.
I know. And Lucy's like, you don't believe in democracy. Do you remember that? Lucy's like, what the hell are you talking about? This was when she was realizing, who is this guy and why am I engaged to him? Then there was all that drama before the Emersons show up in England. What was the name of their town? Because the name of Lucy's estate was called Windy
Pines?
Windy-
Or something? No, that doesn't make sense.
Windy Corner, but I can't think of what the actual parish was called.
I don't remember.
But whatever. there was this estate called Sissy, and Lucy wanted her spinster friends to stay there, but then Cecil was all like, no, I want my Emerson friends to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was all very weird. So Lucy starts to realize, you know what, this match is probably not the best. Oh,
With
that
Cecil?
awkward kissing scene. Do
Yeah.
you remember the awkward kissing scene? It's like,
May I kiss you?
we haven't kissed. It's like, no. You just kiss. You don't talk about the kissing before you kiss.
What do you mean? That's how every first kiss I've ever had went down.
Oh, really?
No.
No. Actually, my husband asked if he could kiss me, but it wasn't awkward like in
Well,
this
see?
book. It wasn't awkward like that.
That's because you didn't make it awkward
It's true.
until just now.
So then, after some tennis, George kisses her again.
That's right.
He's
Is this
very-
one on the lips? Or is
I'm
this
going to
on the
assume
cheek?
it was on the cheek again.
Okay.
I'm just going to go on a limb and say.
Isn't that like a formal greeting? I don't know.
I don't know. And then she breaks off the engagement with Cecil, and then she elopes with George, but her brother and her mom aren't too happy about it, so it's kind of a bittersweet ending.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't marry a dude in the first place. But
Okay.
Cecil asks her three
Thanks
times.
for laying out your
before-
boundaries for
Yeah.
our audience.
No problem. We're gonna get some Twitter backlash.
You're so close-minded.
I know.
Try it, you'll like it.
Hashtag
Maybe
vote
a
yes.
Hashtag what?
Vote yes.
Vote yes.
hashtag yes all men.
Nice.
See? But yeah, I don't know. Do you want to know the most boring scene I've ever read in a book?
Yeah, I bet it was in this book.
When they're trying to figure out where they're gonna sit in a carriage for like.
Oh my god.
Well, I don't want to sit next to him. Ooh. Oh, God. Is that how much time people had, like, in the 1920s?
The leisure class.
Oh, good point. I was just like, no.
We probably should talk a little bit about Charlotte. What was Charlotte's last name? Charlotte.
Charlotte Bartlett.
Oh yeah, she was a trip. She needed some Xanax. She was just like, oh, look at me, I've messed everything up again. Oh, I'm gonna this drama here. Oh no, you can't let us use your room. Oh no, what? Yeah, she was crazy. But she kind of brought George and Lucy together, so we'll
That's
give her a
true.
pass. We'll give her a
Exactly.
pass.
I think, yeah. There was like 20 people in this book.
I know. I hear there's a movie. I kind of want to watch the movie now because reading it, not the whole thing, but I can see where it could be condensed into a very entertaining movie. Because there were some scenes that, I was laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. They were few and far between, but there was some good humor in here.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like it'd be one of those movies that, I don't know, the costume designers and makeup artists get a nod from Hollywood, like,
yeah.
well done. And I don't like those movies.
Fair enough.
Like what? Pride and Prejudice? Isn't that kind of like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know anything about
Pride and
it.
Prejudice is good.
They make, I keep looking for a physical book to pick up, but
A Baedeker,
yeah, I have
perhaps?
a Baedeker, but I guess I actually read the book on here. They make high school kids read this book. Can you imagine? Like, I was tortured at this point in my life. I cannot imagine being like 17 years old and having to read this book.
Me neither.
I mean, how horrible for them.
But a
Seriously.
lot of kids don't like Shakespeare at a young age either.
And there's so much class stuff and gender stuff that I think is
Well,
just
then,
kind of like...
that's probably why it's put in
It's,
the curriculum.
but I don't know. And I don't think this book did a very good job of hooking you on those types of topics. Like maybe it made a point about it later in the book, but early in the book it was just like, oh, look at these doofuses being
Yeah, I don't.
hung up on class and treating
Yeah.
women horribly.
It never pulled me in. And it was also very detailed in weird places.
Yes,
And I didn't,
random.
I didn't care for those details. I was like, man, what?
Yeah.
Let's move this story forward. But, anyways,
Yeah, so
it was
don't
a tough read.
read it if you don't have to. We don't recommend it.
Put me in a bad mood for a whole month.
there are a couple great scenes there, so I think.
Yeah, frolicking 3 dudes in a forest pool.
Did you think it was symbolic though? Because they were all free and one with nature, and it was the 3 men that she really liked: her brother,
Oh.
George, and then Mr. I was in my brain. I was calling him Mr. Bebe the whole time, but I guess it was Mr. Beebe.
I started calling the honey churches like honey bunches of oats.
I can see where that would happen.
I relate to food a lot. So did you have any lasting impressions from this book, or were you just kind of...
No, I just wanted it to be over.
Yeah.
I just wanted it to be over. I was glad for Lucy, especially after she had the conversation with George, and he's like, you can't really mean to marry him, and he treats you this way, and
Right.
I would never do that. And I was like, oh, isn't that sweet? But I don't really read books to be like, isn't that sweet? Like, I want to be gripped. There was nothing gripping about this book.
No. No.
It was just kind of a cute love story, bittersweet love story, because she kind of...
Well, would this be considered a classic?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I think it is. But
Yeah.
why do you think it was considered a classic?
I don't know, because they just continued to keep putting it in curriculum, I think.
Yeah.
'Cause
It's a bad book.
I don't know. I
don't know either.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
There were so many scenes that were just ambiguous. Like falling down the hill was ambiguous, and just how. I feel like we should close with something good, but I have nothing good to say. Do you have something good to say, Josh?
My hangover is I'm gonna go to the worst part of Minneapolis. All right. I'm gonna wait till 2 dudes start stabbing each other, and for a lady to faint, and I'm gonna catch her in my arms, and then she'll probably marry me.
Excellent takeaway, Josh.
That's what happened in this book.
Excellent takeaway. No, it is. That's absolutely in a nutshell. But you live in Minneapolis. I think you need to go to a more foreign land in order for it to be a true representation of what happened.
Ah, Italy.
Chaska.
Yeah.
Well, I think the true takeaway from this episode is Bloody Orange Marias,
Oh, yeah.
Silver Tequila, Bloody Mary mix, orange juice, and you put a little orange rind garnish in there, and then we would like to call this drink Tequila Mockingbird because
That's right.
we read books and drink.
That's what we
Thanks,
do.
Rance. Okay, so next episode is The Hobbit.
The Hobbit.
So that's exciting.
Yeah, right in conjunction with the movie.
Well,
Did I use that word correctly?
I've actually read The Hobbit before, and I know I will enjoy it more than this book.
What's your favorite scene?
Oh, the dragon stuff.
No.
Yeah,
It's when they're all on the wine barrels escaping that elf city. It's awesome.
I like the dragon stuff.
I'm gonna force my scene on you.
I like when Bilbo was on the top of the tree and all the elves were in the forest.
Oh, is that when the wolves were? Anyways, we'll get into it in that episode, I suppose, when we actually have it fresh in our minds.
We'll see you next time.
Adios.
Cheers.